Good morning. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Instagram. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I never got a chance to tell you yesterday. My plan was that I was going to go live every single day this week to chat with you about just some of the details in my newest program. I dropped it on you guys yesterday in case you missed the announcement. You can go back and watch the live. I will also be dropping a written update later today, so you can check that out. But just so you guys know, the Spiritual Savage Strategy is live. So this is my newest program where we're not just looking at your fitness goals, we're not just looking at your body goals, but we're looking at your health from a holistic point of view. Since you guys know I've been spiritual from the jump. Okay. So since I have been on my spiritual journey, I have met more women who struggle with these psychic symptoms, these conditionings of us minimizing and silencing ourselves in all these different areas of life. And then also not being able to achieve their fitness goals and always hitting plateaus and always feeling stuck and like they have to settle for where they are. I am also standing today. I just need to move a little bit today, so things might get exciting here. But I've met more and more of these women, and more of them ask me, how did you get so connected to your body? How did you get so in touch with your body? And you know what? Like, it's so funny because it's the most external part of us is our skin, right? In the physical body anyways. The part of us that gets the most external interaction is our body. But in order to be connected to that, I had to go inward. And when I say go inward, yes, I'm talking about like my actual health. Like I had an autoimmune disease, an undiagnosed autoimmune disease. I've had some hormonal health issues. I have had, I am suspect that I have some thyroid health issues that I'm investigating right now. And so there's always going to be these physical manifestations, right? But when I say inward, I really mean like your soul, your mind, and the alignment of your mind and your soul. Because when we put out into the cosmos that we want a specific outcome, and then we are not specific about getting to the outcome, then it can feel real bumpy and you can feel really misaligned and you can feel like, what the heck is happening? Why is it even when I feel like I'm making a healthy choice for myself, it seems like so much work, it seems like so much overwhelm, it seems like I just still get stuck? And it's because your energy is stuck energetically in your energy body or in your spiritual body or in your soul somewhere. Something is not actually aligned. And so you can say that you want to do these things, but really our actions are what get us there, right? And I don't mean that in a way to demean ourselves. But what if you could align your body with your spirit and your mind? What if none of the energies in your body, remember, what do we know about energy, right? The nervous system, our organism is made up of energy, and energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be converted. So what if we converted all of your negative conditioning, all of your negative energy, negative meaning like lower vibrational, the ones we don't want, the ones that interrupt our life, the ones that interrupt us making any progress towards our goals. What if we converted that energy into energy that propelled us forward, into energy that let us see what was actually happening under bad things? And it can sound very like, wow, you make it sound so easy, Des. When I say, all you have to do is change your language, change your life, right? But it's constant practice. By no means is this a glamorous process, you guys. It literally would go like, when this was happening in real time, when I was having this conversation with myself in real time, in practice mode, when I was developing this part of my intuitiveness, it was a lot of, hey, why'd you just say that to yourself? Well, that's how it's always been. Okay, but wait a minute. If we want to change it, then we get to change how we talk. If you want to change your conditioning, you get to change how you habitually talk to yourself, because all conditioning is what we've received over and over and over again. It's the message we've digested and swallowed over and over and over again. So now we get to let that go and then insert new information, but it takes time. And in that space in between, in that time, is the importance of finding the inner peace and the inner balance and managing your inner world. Because there are a lot of times still now, like literally right now, today, right now, today, in my life, in my personal life, I'm going through a time where I am getting nothing but signs that I am going through a very transitional period. Like every day is asking me to pivot on a small scale, like from things having to do with work all the way to things very personal in my love life. There are things that are asking me to pivot and move and shift, and I've asked for a certain amount of growth, and so I'm going to get tests that give me the opportunity to grow. How I react to that test is going to be what happens the next cycle around. And that's all life is cycles, which if we sit down and think about that too long, it's kind of depressing, right? But like, what if we could be a little bit better with each cycle? That's the progress. That's the peace. And oftentimes when we hit these plateaus and we hit these cycles in our fitness and health goals, it's only because of what we're not acknowledging within other parts of ourselves, within our mental cycles, within our spiritual cycles, within the cycles of self-love or self-hate that we run, within the cycles of toxic behaviors for ourselves that we run, because we think that we have to settle for this thing. And so even though it's not what's fulfilling, even though it's not what is true to us, we think that because the rest of the world wrote this narrative of go to work, fall in love, get married, etc., that we have to follow that. Now, I'm not saying that's your story, but we all have our own stories of what we think is expected of us versus what we actually want. And when you can align with what you actually want, that is when you find true inner peace. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about peace. Like, we live in this world that believes in extremes, right? And if we're pursuing balance and peace, then that means we must not want chaos or change, right? But actually, it's the balance of those two things, the yin and the yang, right? That's why there's a divine masculine and a divine feminine. That's why there is negative energy and positive energy. I don't like these words because of the connotations that we've given them. But what I like is their extremes, right? If we talk about them from a scientific perspective, from like a scientific health perspective, there are ions in your body, ions that make up who you are, that are negatively charged and positively charged. And you have to have both to survive. We are the epitome of the balance of the universe. Like, we are the universe. You are God already. We all are. We all are a reflection of that. And it can feel really also silly when we don't love ourselves enough to say that and then believe it, right? Like who am I to call myself God? What? Wait. But it's together that we all make up that consciousness. But we can only get there if on an individual level, we can find that peace within ourselves. So your inner world is the secret to your outer peace, right? To that peacefulness that when people see you and they're like, oh, she's so blissful. I get this a lot. I get this a lot from people, and I'm like, oh, wow. Well, I don't mean to fake it. I don't mean to put a front on. I just now really understand that life is always going to run cycles and life is always going to just happen. But how I respond, How I let that affect my health is up to me. And so every time these cycles have come through, I've rewired a little bit, taken a step back maybe sometimes, right? Because that happens and we got to relearn some lessons sometimes. And then I get a little bit better and I just keep refining the process. And then every time I refine the process, it gets a little easier. That ride gets a little smoother. But the very first place I learned this was in the gym. It was in the gym. And so this is where, like, this is what I mean by it's very important that we are aligned. Because if you don't believe in yourself in the gym, in the most physical place that we can go, right? Which is where you think that you're hung up. When the reality is your body is only reflecting the energy that's surrounding you. And the energy that's surrounding you is the energy that you're creating, which is this energy that you can't be good enough, that you can't fulfill your dreams, that you can't be unlimited. Who am I to be unlimited? Who are you? Who are you not, babe? Who are you not? Because to me, it's a really lonely and sad existence if I never truly love myself. If I can never wake up loving me, taking care of me, honoring me, if I never know what that feels like, then I don't really want to do this, right? And that's how we run into those cycles of depression and anxiety. And that's how literally you can end up questioning if you even want to be a part of this existence. Hi, been there, done that. And it's because we deny ourselves the opportunity of connecting all of the parts of us. So when you're in the gym and you're under the barbell and you fail, or you don't, failing is all perspective, by the way, because I don't fail in the gym, I learn. So even when I don't hit a PR, I'm learning something. But even that lesson had to be put into perspective for me by my external world. And then when my external world said, okay, are you going to feel punished and beat down and bullied by this? Or are you going to feel empowered and curious and blessed by this, if you will? And when I shifted that perspective, when I made that one perspective shift in the gym, mind you, I did it in the gym and I didn't think about it again until like way later in other parts of my life, but I had already learned the lesson. And so because I had already learned the lesson and my body recognized, my nervous system recognized that it was actually not such a scary thing to fail. It was not such a scary thing to not succeed in hitting a PR, and that I could learn from it and then do better next time. Whoa. Like the alarms that went off in the ripple effect in the rest of my life. All of a sudden, I was willing to do scary things in my relationship. All of a sudden, I was willing to do scary things and go to more intimate levels with my best friend and my lover. All of a sudden, I was able to go to scarier places within me, things that I had denied myself the healing and, the pain and the pleasure of looking at. Like there was so many tidal waves that came after that first tidal wave, right? Like it felt like a really cool epiphany that day in the gym, but I never gave it credit for what it was going to do with every single ripple that came after. And every time that I start to feel a little bit like I might be getting stuck, or I might be coming to this place that I'm unsure of, the very first thing I think is, what is this teaching me? Where is my opportunity to learn? And for so long, the reason this is so amazing is that for so long, that was not my thought process. For so long, my very first thought was, well, shit, this is great. Well, wonderful. Like, here I am again. And I know that I'm not the only one who thinks that way. I know, because in the last 2 to 3 years, I've never had more women ask me, How are you so connected to yourself? And it's just practice, just like anything else, it's practice. But what I was able to do, because I'm an intuitive person, and this is me speaking directly to my fellow intuitives, for all my ladies who have a natural intuition, who have a natural gift, superpower gift, right? Psychic gift. I hate to call them that because we also all have them. Everybody has their own way of reading energy, moving energy, shifting energy through the world. It's just a lot of us are asleep to it. I've been very aware of this since a very young age. If you guys missed my post the other day, quick story time before I wrap this up. When I was 5 years old, I went to school and claimed that my sister had died in a car crash, or in a plane crash, sorry. I didn't have a sister at this point, by the way. I was the only child. It was a whole thing. The teacher freaked out, called the principal called my mom. She picked me up. Anyways, when we got in the car and I was telling my mom, I was like, no, mommy, for real, remember, she died. As I've gotten older, I've come to realize that this was like a retrovision. This was a past vision that I had, a past memory that I had. And I remember thinking, like, when I realized that that's what it was, that it wasn't just my imagination, like when I got older and realized this, I remember thinking, like, oh my God, I'm so strange. Like, oh my gosh, people don't just see stuff like that. People don't just make things up like that, right? Why would I say that? And then as I dug deeper into my own intuitive gifts, I realized we all have these gifts. For me, they show up as visions. For me, they show up in my vision and in my gut, but it's actually, your intuition doesn't come from any special place. If you're into human design, it comes from your spleen, which is kind of up in here. And sometimes I will get pangs in like my left rib when my intuition is going off. But intuition is kind of a funny thing. So we all have a different way. Some people just know stuff. Some people get ringing in their ears. But we all have a different way of connecting to energy. We all have a different way of understanding the energy of the world. And when you can tap into that, then you can manipulate any part of your life that you want, your body, your relationship with food, your relationship with others, your relationship with self. But if you never understand how you as an individual communicate with the world, the earth, the cosmos, how you are here to operate in happiness and in bliss and in peace, which, mind you, remember, like we said, it's not going to come without the anger and the sadness and that stuff, because that is just life and that is just balance. And that is true peace. Because to experience happiness all of the time would take away the joy of happiness. Think about that. Like, if we only ever experienced happy things, we wouldn't appreciate those happy things when they come. If I only ever experienced love, I wouldn't experience love when I feel it, right? But if I know what it feels like to not be loved, when I find true love, I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is it. Yeah. Yeah. And so, thanks, boo. So it's like, it's really not about, putting on this facade like everything's perfect. It's really not about, it's not like everything in my life is peaches and creams. You guys, peaches and creams, multiple creams, multiple peaches. Yeah, we have multiple creams and multiple types of peaches over here right now, for sure. Yeah, life is chaos. Life is chaos. And that is what makes it so exciting. And that is what makes, at least for me, and I'm sure for all my other ladies who love personal development, spiritual development, physical development, whatever kind of development you're focused on right now, for me, that is what makes growth worth it. Because because chaos is going to exist no matter what. So guess what? Every time I go through the cycle, I either get to choose if I'm going to come through that cycle as the same person, or a different person. Life is going to bring the cycle no matter what. I get to accept that. That part I can't change. But do I get to respond as who I am right now today, or do I get to respond as a new version of Desiree? And what would that new version of me do? And that is how you slowly start to nurse your inner world so that you can reflect that outer peace. Okay? These are some of the things that we will be talking about in Spiritual Savage. So in case you guys missed it, go back and read my post from yesterday. I'll be dropping, like I said, another post about it today with all of the details. But this is a full program, okay? Thanks, babe. I will. Thanks for coming. This is a full program, so it's 6 months of fitness and nutrition training, as well as spiritual, intuition, psychic powers, abilities, that kind of stuff. Getting into like the full soul work. There's some shadow work that we're going to talk about, astrology, which is like your inner world stuff, human design, which is the outer world stuff, how we manage the two, and how that really creates a difference in our own manipulation of energy, which is the manipulation of your reality, which is how you are the creator of your reality. Okay, so if that sounds like you, if that sounds like something that you've been looking for and you've been waiting for something that encompasses all the different sides of your health, yes, there will be some nervous system teaching too, because you know I can't not talk about it. Hello, it's all connected. So if you're looking for something that's going to encompass all of those pieces, go ahead and drop Savage in the comments. Let me know. I'll get you set up with the application. I am doing an application process because this is definitely not your average program, right? We're going to have a lot of homework. We're going to have a lot of commitment, energetic commitment. But I promise you, it will be one of the most rewarding 6-month cycles of your life. And I hope we get to go together. All right, guys. I'll chat with you later today. Have a wonderful day and see you on the internet. Bye.